Welcome back, everybody. Today we're going over these ear pro here on the B channel, just kind of a quick look at them. These are the Peltor 6S's, or tactical 6S's as you may see them referred to. These ones are kind of old school, so these have been out for a long time. These were super popular ear pro when they first came out and still continue to be. We'll get into why that is, but they certainly have some limitations. So just sort of a quick discussion of the cons of them. We'll get that out of the way. First and foremost, relatively low noise reduction rating. So if you're going to be doing a lot of indoor shooting with, especially indoor shooting with rifles, over prolonged shooting times, you're going to very likely need to double up. I generally recommend doubling up anyway, but they're not quite going to give you enough protection as some of like the 30 NRR or something like that are going to be much, much larger will do for indoor situations. So certainly a con for them. Of course, for self-defense or home defense, they're going to be just fine if you want to use them in that application. We'll get into that a little bit later on in the review. Also, one sort of con of them is the electronics themselves, so sort of how they work. A lot of newer technology, ear protection, electronic ear protection will basically noises that are above generally 85 to 90 decibels will cut those out, but still allow you to hear the noises that are below that threshold. So people will be talking, you'll be able to continue to hear the voices crystal clear while gunshots are going off, and the gunshots will be sort of muted. With these, that's not the case. When a very loud noise goes off, there will be a momentary turn off of the electronics. When that happens, all the sound is turned off. So all the amplification. Of course, you can still hear ambient noise like you would with non-electronic hearing protection, but the amplification of that vocal range or whatever will be cut off momentarily. We're talking less than a second, but it's just something to keep in mind. So those are sort of the cons of them, at least as I see it. Additionally, I should point out the directional picking up of the microphones up here up front are okay. They're not as good as, like, say, like the Peltor Tactical 100s that we reviewed here on the channel, which are a similar price range to these. So why do people use them, right? Like, why are they popular? Why do you see them all the time out there in pictures? Well, two reasons. Number one, they're very low profile, so that's nice. They're very lightweight. That's nice. They have decent sound amplification, and also, like I mentioned earlier, they've been around for a long time. They're a proven commodity. So this actual pair that I'm holding in my hands right now, I recently got back from Peltor. So the backstory on that is going to be their customer service. I had these for about 6-7 years. For those of you that watched the early stages of the channel, you know I had these on in pretty much every video. And for years before there was ever even a channel as well. In the past probably 6 months or so, on the right side of them, when I turn it on, incidentally, we'll go over that. To turn them on, you're just going to rotate these levers down. You hear a click, but there is no light or anything indicating that they're on, which is something that some people don't like. So you can't accidentally leave them on. But anyway, back to my story. When you turn it on, the right side would have sort of like an electronic hiss or something in them. So I wrote Peltor, let them know what was going on with the Ear Pro, explained the situation, sent them a picture. They kind of see that they were beat up and had been around the block a little bit. So they said, no problem, send them in. We'll see what we can do. So I sent them in, and immediately when they got in, they sent me a notice saying that they got them, which is nice, always nice. And then within 2 weeks, they sent these back with no explanation. So what they did is, this is again a completely new pair. So obviously they probably thought it was easier or cheaper or whatever the case may be to replace rather than to fix. Either way, the only cost I paid for the entire new pair after 6 years or 7 years of hard use was the $3 it cost me to ship the old ones out. So in terms of customer service, that's awesome for Peltor there. Definitely kudos to them. But another thing that people really like about them, like I mentioned earlier with the low profile, is that they work with a variety of different helmets out there. So you'll see these in use by military folks all the time because they fit under helmets really well. So if you're sitting up in like a gun turret and you're sitting up there forever and you still want to be able to hear when you start lighting off your M240 or your M2 or whatever the case may be, these will do well. Again, the hearing protection is not ideal in terms of the amount of it, but in combat, you'll take what you can get and they'll do really well. A lot better, excuse me, a lot better than just exposing your ears to the sound of machine gun fire, obviously at close range. So how do they work? They each work on AA batteries. And when I say each side is independently powered. So two AAA batteries go in there. And that's pretty much it. The batteries do seem to last a long time. I don't have the quantifiable data on that, but they seem to work pretty well as long as you don't inadvertently leave them on. And they're very comfortable as well. Peltors, to most people, get a really good seal, particularly with iPro. For myself, they do. The Peltors, as compared to like the Howard Lights, for me, give me a much better seal. There's other people, of course, that aren't quite like that, but super comfortable, easy to take apart. All you do is literally just pull this piece out. It will expose the foam underneath there, expose the batteries. You can clean them, wipe them down, add new batteries, whatever you need to do, put them back on. They just snap back into place. And that's pretty much it. So that's it, guys. I just want to do a quick sort of discussion, if you will, these tactical 6S's. Now that we got them back, because that sort of was the complete update to the story. I've been meaning to do this for a while, but now that we got them back in, did some more shooting with the new pair, they seem to be just as good as the old pair, which I really like, because for the money, they're pretty solid. So in terms of money, I should say that they're around the $50 to $75 range, which again is relatively expensive. And you can get stuff like the Peltor 100s, which check that review out. They're really, really good in terms of sound quality. The 100s are much better. It's really not even close, as I discussed in that video. And even the range guards are going to be better as well. But they don't have that little profile, if you will, that these do. And that really is the big advantage to them, as well as the fact that they're just a proven commodity. If you guys have any questions, as always, you can post one down in the comment section. You can also post over at my Facebook page, as always, where I share lots of deals, to include deals on these that I put up the other day. So that's about it, guys. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you in the next video.